Hello, Miss Shelley Wade. How are you doing today?
Hi there.
So you're back in New York, yeah?
I am. I've been back for about a month now and just getting reacclimated to everything. I finally found a place to live, and so I'm excited about that
Mm.
because I really feel like I haven't felt grounded because I've just been in a hotel for the whole month, you
Wait,
know?
what? Oh my
So,
God.
finally found a home, and so I'm happy about that now.
So you've had an incredible career. I mean, thus far, and you're still so amazing. I mean, how did you get into radio?
Well, I grew up singing and performing around my hometown of Houston. And, I just always had this love of music. I mean, like we all do, right?
Yeah.
I had this love for music. And when I went to high school, actually, I have three siblings, and we all studied radio and television in high school.
Okay,
I
cool.
went to a high school in Houston called Jack Yates High School, and same high school that George Floyd went to, same high school that Debbie Allen and Phylicia Rashad went to. But we had a school of communications. There was the regular school, and then there was the magnet school of communications, and we learned journalism and radio and television. And so we studied that in high school. And as a matter of fact, because all of my siblings studied it, um, it could have been a family business, but I turned out to be the only one of my siblings to pursue.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, when I graduated high school, I still wanted to, come and sing on Broadway or something like that. But my mom was like, no, you're going to college. And so when I got to college, I was like, what do I want to major in? I didn't want to major in music because most of the time you're studying music education, and I
Mm.
didn't want to go that route. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to study what I studied in high school, radio and television.
Keeping it fluid. Okay.
And it wasn't until I started working at my college radio station that I decided, hey, you know what? I think I want to pursue this as a career. And so that's how I got started studying
Now,
it in high school and in college.
now, interesting. Can we hear like a little snippet of Miss Shelley singing?
Oh, geez,
Because
Louise.
just a little bit, because that is so cool. I mean, you're so charismatic. So if I could just a little bit, that would be really cool.
Oh my God, I haven't, you know how they say you don't use it, you lose it. So
Oh
my voice isn't
no.
the strongest right now. So
Oh,
I don't want to get out here and sound crazy, but what could I sing
favorite song.
wouldn't that wouldn't require me doing some Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey acrobatics with my mouth with my
Okay, they are
voice.
amazing though.
Yeah,
Like honestly,
so I'm not gonna try those. I'll try something easy. I'll try Amazing Grace. Um,
okay.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Did I say the wrong? I once
Shelley, Shelley.
was
Oh,
lost, but now I'm found. I think I got the words wrong at the end. Sorry about that.
oh my Shelley.
A little pitchy here and there, but
No, no. You took my breath away. Oh my goodness. That
thank
was beautiful.
you.
And thank you so much for sharing that with me. You're so talented.
Thank
So,
you.
something I was curious about is your favorite guest that you've ever interviewed. Because I know you've done Kanye West, like you've done like everybody's so cool.
It's so interesting you would bring up Kanye because it was one of my favorite memories of doing an interview out live at a location, because when I interviewed him, it was in Times Square at this, ironically enough, this karaoke place in
Oh,
Times
okay.
Square. But we didn't karaoke. He actually performed, and that year it was when the year his graduation album came out.
Mhm.
And he was about to go on a huge tour. And at the time, I was on the radio at Z100 New York. And Z100 had wanted him to sing and perform at our Jingle Ball show at Madison Square Garden. It's the yearly show they have every, Jingle Ball is, it's all over the country now, but back then it was just for Z100. And Kanye couldn't perform at Jingle Ball that year because he had already scheduled his own tour. But he said, tell you what, he said, I'll perform a private show for some of your listeners.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I was obsessed with the Graduation album. And I said to my boss, Sharon, I was like, I have got to host this show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, so yeah, I can't remember, maybe it was Spotlight. I can't remember the name of the karaoke place. I think it was Spotlight Live or something like that. And so they shut it down and we gave away tickets to listeners, and it was just like a select few listeners in the audience, and some of my coworkers, and Kanye was only supposed to perform like maybe 2 songs, and he was enjoying himself so much that he performed like about 4 or 5 songs, because I was obsessed with the album, and so were our listeners. And so he knows, the album had just come out and we knew all the words. And so he was really excited. And so he performed extra long for us, and we just had a great time. So that is a good memory for me. I would say though, probably my favorite interview experience was Janet Jackson, just because I've been a fan of her since I was, a kid. And just to be able to have her in the studio with me all to myself, asking her questions, and she's answering them. And it just, I've always had this, this fantasy in my head that she's like a big sister to me, Okay,
but that's really cool. Oh my God. That is so iconic.
To interview her, and I just watched, I don't know, did you get a chance to watch her documentary on Lifetime recently?
I didn't know it was on.
It was amazing. It was one she produced herself. Okay. So it was like, it wasn't like someone did this documentary and they're guessing what happened. She actually had a hand in it herself. And she revealed so many things that we may not have known, and behind the scenes secrets about what happened, with her marriage and relationships that she had. And I already loved Janet since I was a kid, but after seeing that documentary, I was like, I didn't think it was possible, but I love her more. So if you get a chance, you should check it out. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I see it right here. It is on Lifetime. I'm gonna check it out. Oh my God, that's so
cool. Maybe it's on demand, huh?
So you've been in New York, San Diego, you've been all over the place. Is it okay to ask a little bit about why you're over there, you're over here, and you're a radio host, you're like on the road, so is it okay to ask about that?
Sure. So what do you want to ask about it?
No, I'm asking, New York, to leave New York is so big. So why?
It was never in my plan, actually, Lillee Jean. It just really wasn't in my plan. I grew up in Houston, as I said, and I started my career in Houston, and I was really successful at home. So there was really no reason for me to leave, because Houston is a big market in itself, to tell you the truth. But there was that little kid in me that still wanted to, even though I didn't come to New York and sing on Broadway, it's still the big city of dreams. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And so when I, got into radio, I was like, what? I would love my own radio show in New York City, and I worked really hard for a lot of years, and it finally happened. And I was here for 12 years. And then the company that I worked for at the time, they replaced me with Ryan Seacrest. And so I had to go into the overnights. And I just am not a night owl like that,
Sad face. Oh.
Yeah, and as if Ryan needed another job, huh?
No, I'm sad for you, because you're so charismatic and you were the heart of that.
Thank you.
Whatever.
It wasn't, but I don't really feel. It's not something to take personally, right? Because my show was number one at the time.
Yeah.
My show was number one at the time. So they didn't replace me because I was sucky. Yeah. They replaced me because he was a celebrity, Yeah. And so it happens. It happens a lot. I'm not the only one that it happened to. But my point in saying it is that when he came in, I had the choice of whether I wanted to leave or work in the overnights, and I wanted to keep a job. So I went into overnights, but I didn't want to keep doing that forever. Mm-hmm. And so also I was at the time, working overnights, and then all the blizzards that were coming here to New York all the time.
Oh, yeah. We get a lot of snow up here.
in the middle of the night and, 2 a.m. and it's freezing. I was ready for some warmth. And so when I got an offer to go to San Diego, I was like, you know what? I've always heard really amazing things about how beautiful San Diego was. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to think about this. And I talked to my family and they were like, you should take it. And it really was, what I felt like that move did for me more than anything. I really don't feel like it was a career thing as much, because I was already in New York, you make it to number one, so it wasn't like it was a life thing. I felt like San Diego for me had healing powers.
Oh, wow.
I really felt like I got there and I did a lot of healing, because if you can imagine, you have that bump in your road in your career and it wasn't what you planned. You were doing everything right, but still that happened to you. And so it was kind of traumatic for me. And so when I went to San Diego, it was like, it helped me heal because it was such a beautiful place. Going to the ocean all the time really was very healing for me. And going on long hikes. And I got a lot healthier and I was happier as a result. And, and although I had done quite a bit of television when I was in New York, it wasn't until I got to SoCal, to Southern California, that I really started getting a lot of TV work. Appearing on national TV consistently. I was on The Talk and they kept having me on for at least 6 years. And I was on the Today Show several times and I'm making appearances on CNN. And so I'm doing all of this national TV stuff because TV was actually a goal of mine before I even got into radio. And so the fact that when I got to San Diego, I think it probably had a lot to do with, me being happier and healthier as well. Wow. And that gives you the more courage to go after your dreams. Yeah, exactly. And so when I got there, I was able to experience the most television success that I had experienced thus far. So it was healing and it was career affirming as well. And so that's the reason I went to San Diego. I needed some sunshine. I got out there and I adapted to that lifestyle. I had to make sure I had my sunglasses on every day. I had flip-flops.
Okay, I love it. I totally love it.
It was really magical. It really was.
Oh my God, do you hate it back up here?
What'd you say?
You hate it back up here now?
Oh, no, I don't. I love New York because I was here for so long before. It's a second home for me, I absolutely love New York, I feel like those years that I was in SoCal, it really prepared me for coming back here because now I'm back here. When I first got to New York in 2001, I got here a couple of months before 9/11. Before I got here, I was a lot younger. And when you're coming in a lot younger and you're not as experienced, you feel like you have so much to prove, And so now I'm here, I'm older, I have so much experience under my belt. I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I no longer feel like I have anything to prove. I feel like I'm just here having fun,
Oh my God, I love that. So many people don't achieve that in life, even being 30. You have achieved an inner serenity. And that's sensational. I mean, what advice would you give to people since you've achieved it? Like, I could tell, like, you're like just lounging, your jewels. Like, that's what you remind me of. Just like,
You know what, to tell you the truth, I can't say, because there's no such thing as perfection. We're all constantly learning. No matter how old you get, you're constantly learning. That's one thing. I used to think that once I got to a certain age, I was going to know everything. And then I finally realized, no, there's no time in my life that I'm ever going to know everything.
True.
Even when I'm 90, I'm going to be learning. And so when you figure that out, you're like, okay, you're less critical of yourself. And I'm certainly by no means, I feel like sometimes I still feel like a hot mess, but I do know that I have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience, under my belt, and I'm more confident in myself. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect, or I feel like I won't have days, because I do have days where I worry. But when I have those days, I quickly recognize it. And I think that's from all the years of therapy, to tell you the truth, to be honest with you. I quickly recognize when I'm being hard on myself, or when I'm worrying to a point where it's just not healthy. And I reel it in and I remind myself that, all is well. You're not perfect. You're learning constantly. And I do feel like I've been given to, when I pray, if I'm nervous about something, I'll say, God, thank you for giving me all the tools that I'll need to be successful at this, and then that gives me confidence to move forward. So I guess that's the advice I can give. How they say, I think Glinda the Good Witch said to Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, remember she said, you've had it all along, or something like that.
I don't know. And then she clicks her shoes or something.
Yeah, at the end,
she something like that.
You've had it all along, Yeah. And so I think it's the same with us all. Once you get to a certain point, if you're really paying attention to the lessons you've learned, it's like you realize, wait a minute, I've had it in me all along. It's like you think that, that there's this big thing you have to do, but then you start realizing, wait a minute, I've had it all along and I can do this. And you just realize that. And so I just would just tell people, if you're feeling anxious about something, if you feel like you can't achieve something, you can just, hey, listen, I've been blessed with all the tools that I'll need to be successful. And then that calms you down. It's almost like taking a deep breath, and a deep breath in, deep breath out. And it's like, okay, and you can move forward with that confidence. I've had it all along,
That is so important. I think so many people, especially with COVID, the pandemic, they've been really struggling with, their businesses shut down. And this piece of advice you just gave, I think a lot of people are going to find very vital, because, things might be tough, but, you've got this, you've gotten this far. So I think that's so...
Yeah, and you make a good point, because these last couple of years have been a struggle for all of us.
Definitely.
I knew at one point, during the pandemic, during the shutdown, I was still living in San Diego, and I'm single, I live alone. And I took it very seriously, isolating. I really did. And so I felt very isolated. I took it very seriously that you should stay away from people. Even going to the store, I was concerned. Because at first, at the beginning, you'll remember, we didn't know how easy it was to catch it. And it was like, oh my God, if someone stands next to me. So even going to the store was scary. And I isolated myself, but at the same time, I felt very isolated, and I felt it's the most isolated and alone I've ever felt. And I noticed, though, that I was watching a video. I was making a video on social media, social media. And my mom used to make these tea cake cookies when we were growing up. And it always comforted me. So I called my mom. I was like, Mama, how do you make those tea cake cookies?
Oh, this is so cute.
And she gave me the recipe, and I went to the store. I braved,
masked up and just like,
masked up. And I went to the store.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. And I got the ingredients, and I just felt like it would comfort me. We were seeking everything that could comfort us, And so I said, I'm going to make these cookies my mom used to make for us growing up.
Awesome.
And so I did that. And as I was looking back at the video, I realized I had gained so much weight. And that's when it dawned on me that I was depressed. It wasn't a weight gain, because I'm the kind of person where my weight fluctuates. I'm used to being, I
was pre-diabetic, so I know the feeling of like going up and down. So I get it.
Yeah. So my weight fluctuates. That doesn't surprise me. But what did surprise me as I was watching is how much weight I gained in such a short period of time. And that's when I realized, because I'm the kind of person where I eat my feelings, and that's when I realized, oh my God, I'm depressed, and so my point in saying all of, not to be Debbie Downer.
It's very important to be real.
Yeah. But you had a great point, though, as you were saying, with the pandemic and, all the things we're going through emotionally.
Yes.
And so I went through it just like so many people. I went through depression during the lockdown, and I'm so happy that I'm at a much better place now, just emotionally. And, for a little while, when I left San Diego and I went back to live in Houston with my family, and my sisters and we did sister stuff, and we just had the best time. I felt so loved and uplifted and surrounded by love and support. And I needed that after the pandemic, not that the pandemic is over, but after feeling isolated during the lockdown, I needed that so much. I was at home for 6 months thinking that I was going to be in Houston permanently. And then I got this job offer in New York. I'm like, wait, what? I just left San Diego. And I was thinking I was going to be in Houston for years. And where did this come from? And so it was something that was unexpected, but I feel so relieved that I had that time with my family. Because what it did was it fueled me and it got me ready for this. It was like my batteries were charged, and I felt love and uplifted. And that love, I feel, has catapulted me into where I am now. And I feel like I feel like I can do this because I had such love surrounding me those few months that I was in Houston. It was like just what I needed.
That's awesome though.
Because so now I'm back. I can take New York on. And,
I love that. Yes. No, that's really important though, Shelley, because so many people, like I said, with COVID, they've been upset, but your authenticity about how you have come from this point to recognition, to fixing what was bothering you, to going towards something that just made you feel at home again, made you feel what you wanted to feel. And now you're like, you know what? I got this. I think it's highly inspiring. Honestly, make a book, girl. Make a book. So good. I'm happy that you're in a better place, though. I think that it's important to check on each other from, here and there. So now I guess I'm going to be Debbie Dowder. What would be the hardest hardship in your career thus far that you have overcome? And
I would say what I shared with you earlier when I was replaced by Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, really? That? Oh, my.
Yeah, it was because I had worked my whole career my dream was to have my own radio show in New York. And to that point, I had done that shift for 7 years and my show was #1. I was doing everything right.
It got taken from you.
Yeah. And so it was very devastating for me. And I remember going through a big depression back then as well. It was very, very devastating for me because, again, I was doing everything right, and so that I think that was what devastated me. But at the same time, I learned a lot from that experience as well. And I know you keep bringing up the point where, I learned and I positive, because I'm not the kind of person, although, there's this, everyone feels like, oh, Shelley, when they listen to me on the radio, I think the thing that people bring up to me the most is that I sound very happy and it makes them happy. And I am happy, especially, because I derive a lot of pleasure from work. I always have. Even when I was a little girl, I was like, career, for whatever reason, that's always been my thing. So I am very happy. But at the same time, there's this odd duality that I've suffered some depressions over my life. And everyone thinks happy, 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 but I've also been sad, sad, sad in some points, And so what I've learned from all of those experiences is that I don't like to be sad. I don't think most people like to be sad. And so what I've tried to do is figure out, how can I get myself out of this? So because
You're
a fighter, and I've learned over the years what makes you depressed. And then to put yourself in to pay attention. I think that's what we all, because a lot of the times we're kind of going through life just kind of, it's almost like we're on this hamster wheel. Yes, with blinders on a hamster wheel, and we don't often pay attention to what we're going through. Like we will try to numb ourselves out by eating or drinking or whatever it is we do. And we don't really delve into what makes us unhappy, or what is this and how can I make it better for me the next time it happens. Because I noticed that had become a theme in my life. When I was in my late teens, I went through a major depression. And then, when I went through the major depression, and then I remember I went through a bad breakup and I got really depressed. And then all of that. But how can I learn from it, And so when I feel myself going there again, it won't be as bad, because what I noticed was when I would go through those depressions, I would just completely shut down. And there was a lack of productivity as far as I was concerned in life, because I was so down and depressed. And I didn't want that kind of time, because life is short. I didn't want it to be taking up that much of my life anymore. And so when my dad passed away a few years ago, I just was struggling. Thank you. But I was really struggling with his death, really struggling, so much so that I was concerned for myself. And so that's when I decided to go to therapy. I'd been to therapy before, but, had never found a therapist that I really thought was good for me. And I finally found a therapist that I thought was perfect for me when I was in San Diego. And she really helped me and gave me a lot of tools that I have been able to use to not get into those depressions anymore. I think I can honestly say, barring the depression I went through, because of the pandemic, I can honestly say I probably will never be that depressed anymore like I was a few other times in my life, because I realize the signs now. That's really good. I'm paying attention. And I also know how to stop myself from going. For a perfect example, so if I feel like something is upsetting me, I know that there is something that I can do to take myself out of it. So, you write down a list of things, and this is, again, advice from my therapist. You write down a list of things that makes you happy. And that's not just, just not like, oh, I like to just see the sunshine. No,
like a hobby or the stuff you like.
Yeah. And then also be very detailed. This song makes me happy because and so you have this long list of things that makes you happy. And so if you're finding yourself down and depressed, you can actually go to that list and say, do something that makes you happy immediately. And that's not to say that fixes everything, but it keeps you from feeling sorry for yourself. It keeps you from going down that rabbit hole, because sometimes it's very seductive to be down and depressed. If that makes any sense to you. Sometimes you get depressed and you're like, oh, I gotta just surrender to it, and I gotta surrender to it, and you stay in it. Really, it's okay to have feelings and be upset about
bad days.
Yes.
It's okay to feel bad.
Stay in it for weeks and months. Obviously. No. And so you have the ability to, you've written this list.
Power.
Yes.
You have the power inside of you. And I think that is so important, because I think my mom has shared with you, what has, happened with people stalking me and being very cruel. And it could be very dehumanizing. You don't even feel like a human anymore with the amount of hate, the lies. Something we have worked out together is that when something comes out that is negative, and I know it's going to trigger me, I don't go on social media. I don't go on my phone. I don't go on my computer. I don't go on anything. She takes care of the comments, the emails, whatever. And I think that has been a really great help to my mental health, because it's kind of like what you said. If I know something's I'm just gonna, because my family's helping me with it, and I should accept that help. I shouldn't enable myself to be more upset than I need to be. So I think that Miss Shelley Wade should write a book. I'm just saying. You are so inspiring. I mean, honestly, girl, how do you a podcast something? I mean, I would love to listen to you about this subject anytime. You're so inspiring and authentic.
Yeah, it's just, as you said, we have the power, and no one's perfect. We all go through things, but how you handle it is, they say it's your character, how you, because we're all going to face things, right? Yeah. But how you handle it is what really defines your character.
Very true.
And so you can pull I can say I'm the most proud of myself for, when people thought, oh, when something like that happened, like, oh, your career is over or something like that. And for me, I'm
Who
kind
said
of
that
like,
to you?
well, people don't say specifically that, but
They mean that.
if you're leaving New
Ew.
York, people think you're leaving New York, then, oh my God, why are you going to a lower market kind of thing? It's like, for me, it was about health and my well-being
How could they not
and
get that?
sanity, and for me, it wasn't like, because I've already done number one. I did it for 12 years. So what's important for me now is feeling healthy, and working overnights every day wasn't making me feel healthy. My health was declining. And so getting out and getting vitamin D and going to the ocean really made me very happy. And you could tell the difference, like when I left here, and then you would see my pictures when I got to San Diego. I'm like, sunshine is all over me, and I was so happy. And so I'm happy that I've been really propelled to, when something is happening, I guess you could say to me, but if I've gone through an experience, I'm not just wallowing in it. I'm trying to figure out, how do I improve? How do I make my situation better? And then not only have I done it, but it's made me a wiser and better person because of it. And so,
God, I love you.
I can say that's probably what I'm more proud of than anything, is that I've been able to triumph over certain things that some people haven't been able to triumph. It's hard sometimes when you go through through tragedies or things that have, I guess I can say more than a bump in a roadblocks, I guess you could say. And then how do you get around? There's ways of you can get around it. You can go under it, over it, but you're just, someone else can't block you. You have the power, as you said earlier. Yep. You have the power. It may seem that this person can block you, maybe because they have power in other ways. But if you want something, you can achieve it. You just have to find a way over it, around it, under it. You can do it. It may not be in the way you originally pictured it, but if you keep trying, you're resilient, the stick-to-itiveness, if you have that, you can achieve it. No one else can block the blessings that God has for you. No one.
Love that so much, because my mom has always had a saying for me, and that's you plant yourself like a tree and you don't move. And when people are coming at you, you stand there. Nobody can erase you but you. And that analogy has really stayed with me, because it's so true and vital. Now, on another end, on a positive note, on your new radio show, want to talk a little bit about that? That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Since you're happy with that.
I also wanted to mention to you, because you were saying sometimes with comments and such, where you feel dehumanized sometimes. You also have to, and you'll probably, I don't know how old you are. You look really young to me.
21.
Yeah, you said 21?
Yeah, my birthday was April 18th.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Shelley. What is your birthday?
The day after Easter. My brother's birthday was the 17th. And I'm not extraordinarily into astrology, but I'm a Sagittarian.
I mean, oh my God, I love Sagittarius. Stop. I'm an Aries. Sagittarius.
Yeah,
Aries,
I know. And that's why I was telling you. That's why.
Yes.
My most compatible signs are allegedly Aries and Leo. and my two sisters are Leos and my brother is an Aries.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. My mom said to me, you will love Shelley. You will just love her. And I can understand why you are so incredible, Shelley. Oh
Thank you. But I was going to tell you real quick, though, is that and you'll learn this as you get older, Lillee Jean, that when people are terrible to you, it's not you, it's them.
Yeah, they're projecting.
Really, it's easy for me to say something like that to you, but you, at some point in your life, you're going to really understand that, because it takes a while to really get it. How they say, bullies are bullies because they're insecure. People who say nasty things to you, they're not secure within themselves, and they're hoping that the words they say to you or whatever they do to you will make you feel as bad as they feel. because they feel really bad. They're unhappy people. They want to make other people unhappy. And so, when someone's saying something nasty, it's really not about you.
It's true.
Truly, it's not about you. And I know it's easy to hear, for me to say it. Yeah. Truly not about you. So don't internalize it at all. These people don't know you. You may share part of your life with them.
Yes, but they don't know my life.
And that's perfectly fine that you want to share things, but certainly they don't know everything about you. And nor do they have the right to try to, presume that they know exactly what you're feeling about something and that they can try to make you feel bad because they feel bad about themselves. They really are unhappy. And that's how you look at them. They're unhappy people, and just pray for them. We are 94.7 The Block, New York's number one for throwbacks. And it's such a fun station. We play a lot of songs from like the 90s and the, early 2000s, and a few, spatterings of 80s or, late 80s things, but it's a super fun station. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback from listeners so far. And, as I told you, I came back to New York feeling like I had nothing to prove to anyone, and I just wanted to enjoy myself. And I'm doing just that. It's such a fun station, and I do feel like, although this opportunity kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like it was something that God wanted me to do. I feel like this is, God has a perfect plan for my life. And so I just am on the journey and trying to be the best, like I said, the best Shelley I can be while having fun. If there's anything that the pandemic has taught us, we don't know if we're promised the next second, and you just really have to try to get the most out of life that you can, and I am very cognizant of the times where I feel super happy and hopeful, and I really take it in with a gusto, and I just really try to, and I really value people who are very kind to me, and I make sure that I am paying attention and taking it in, and here at the station, everyone has been so extraordinarily kind to me and very, they just are, they're just supportive and constantly telling you, oh, you sound amazing. How about doing this? And trying to help me, better the show. And it's just a really wonderful experience. I'm very happy with how things are going.
So when can people listen to you? And where can they follow you on social media?
I'm on air on 94.7 The Block, New York, every day from 2 to 7 p.m. I'm the afternoon host. And people from all over the country can listen wherever you are by downloading the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, the Odyssey app. Cool. And search for 94.7 The Block, New York, and then you can hear me. Nick Cannon is on from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I come on right after him, 2 to 7 p.m. And then Ed Lover comes on at 7 p.m. And so it's a fun crew so far. And I just can't wait to see where the station goes. It's a brand new station,
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the station grows and, us getting even more listeners, and thanks to you, getting more listeners. And I'm just really excited for everything. Oh, and social media, Facebook, All the Rage with Shelley Wade. That's where I am on Facebook. Please do like that. On Twitter.
Like that, follow.
At Shelley Wade. And don't forget the EY, because there's another Shelley Wade. I found out the last time I lived here in New York, I was trying to ShelleyWade.com. And people are always spelling my name incorrectly. They always leave the second E out. And so I said, you know what? Well, let me buy ShelleyWade.com with the E and without the E, because everyone's always spelling my name incorrectly. And then they were like, someone already has the one without the E. And I'm like, oh. And then they said, she's a singer. And so I emailed her. I was like, are you going to do anything with Shelley?
What did you say?
She's like, I'm a singer and I'm going to have my own site. So I say all that to say, if you just do ShelleyWade.com, you're following the singer. And I'm sorry. If you just do at Shelley Wade without the E, you're following the singer. And yeah, follow her too. But also don't forget to follow me. And it's SHELLEYWADE at Shelley Wade on Twitter. And I'm on Instagram at the one and only Shelley Wade. And I say that because
it happened again.
Shelley Wade.
Oh. You know, I'm so in tune with that because of the way my name is spelled. So many people spell it wrong. And it's like they spell it like Lillie. And it's like new. And there is a Lillee Jean Lilly. And it's like new. So, oh my God, Shelley, you're so awesome to have on. I loved having you on. Oh my goodness.